Hey there, this is Sean from Holy Smoke. Today I'm going to show you how to operate your Lopi model AGP pellet stove. So we're going to go over to the control panel right here, which is located on the back. It's got a little access door which you can just flip open and closed here. And this gives us access to the controls on this unit. Now we've got 3 different buttons and 2 dials, okay? So the buttons are pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go through them anyways. We have our start button. So if we're going to start the unit, all we have to do is hit that start button, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. What will happen is we'll have a green blinking light. That's indicating it's going into its start up cycle. So it's going to feed pellets, it's going to turn on the igniter. Your combustion blower is going to be on, which is that noise that we're hearing, that kind of blower noise. That's what is exhausting the stove, so it creates suction inside the stove. Go ahead and hit that, and it's a 22-minute, and on this particular unit, it's a 22-minute startup cycle. So it's going to go through this sequence, and that green light's going to be blinking for quite a while. Once that green blinking light goes to a solid green light, then we know we're past our startup sequence, and it's going to go into its regular operating functions. Now, the other button is a stop button. So if we want to stop the unit at any point in time, we can just hit that stop button. There'll be a red stop, red light indicating that it's in its shutdown mode or that it's off. And then the last button is a TSTAT button, and that's for the thermostat. So you can hook up a thermostat to these units. It can be an external wall-mounted thermostat that has a thermostat wire that goes to it. You can also get a thermostat remote. You do have to get an aftermarket one. Lopi doesn't have one made for these models anymore. But if you were to hook up a thermostat to it, you would engage this TSTAT button, and there'll just be a little light indicator there telling you that it's in the thermostat mode. We do not have a thermostat on this particular unit, so we're not even going to use that button. So this button doesn't even apply to this unit right now. Moving on to our dials. So we've got 2 dials here. The one on the left is our heat dial. So this is going to regulate the amount of heat output of the stove. So we've got a low to a high setting, and of course you can set it anywhere in between. Now what this is doing is this is regulating the amount of pellets being fed into the unit, which is ultimately going to dictate how hot it's burning and how much heat it's going to put out. So really what I recommend doing is kind of running on a medium to medium high. Now you can just run it on a low for an extended period of time. I know that on a low with a full hopper, this unit will run for a really long time. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I want to say it's somewhere around 64 hours. So it's a really long time. And on high, of course, it's going to be a lot less because it's going to be feeding more pellets and burning more pellets. But the reason why I recommend running it on a medium to a medium high is, one, it's going to heat the home a little bit more effectively, and it's going to keep the system running a little bit cleaner. If you're always running it on low, you may find that it might get a little gunked up, might get a little bit dirtier more often, like the glass might get a little hazy or dirtier, or your firebox or burn platform might get dirtier. So I generally recommend running it on a medium or medium high. You can run it on a high too. I mean, if it's really cold in the house, you're just getting home or something, you want to heat the place up, yeah, crank it on high, get the place warm, then you can go ahead and dial it back or turn it off. Now, the other dial here is our fan control. So this regulates the room fan or the convection fan speed. So on low, of course, the fan's going to be on a low setting. Of course, you can adjust it all the way up to a high. On high, you're going to have your maximum heat output. So it's going to be blowing the fastest, spinning the fastest, and pushing the heat out a lot quicker. Now that air is coming out of the front of the unit, which is located right here. There's kind of this set of louvers here. And if I pull this louvered grate off and down, you can actually see there's a bunch of tubes right there. And so the air is being blown through those tubes and then out into the room. That's the primary heat extraction of this unit, is that air. So with this control, you can regulate that. Now, a really cool feature of this unit is it has an auto fan mode. There's this little wording down here that says auto fan. Now, if you rotate this dial all the way in the counterclockwise position, you'll get that little blue light indicating that it's in the auto fan mode. And what that auto fan mode is the fan speed is going to follow whatever your heat output is. So if you've got your heat dial set to medium, your fan's going to be at a medium. If you turn your heat up to high, your fan's going to be on high. So what you can do is you can just leave this in your auto fan mode and just control your heat output here, and that's all you've got to do. So really, you can eliminate some of these buttons and really simplify the operation here. Really, you just got your stop and your start buttons and your heat output button. And again, the heat output, you can really just leave it on a medium high, unless you're trying to get a really long extended burn for a long period of time, or you're really cold and you just need more heat. So there you go. There are the controls for the Lopi AGP freestanding wood stove.